All right, everyone. This is my after action report, part 7. Hopefully, the last I ever have to talk about this because I'm tired. Maybe that's just today because I've just done 7 of these back to back to back to back to back, and I'm pretty tired. And yeah. Anyway, the VCDL ABZQRF 2020 January 20 at 8 a.m. Second Amendment gun rights supportive rally action in Richmond, Virginia, with the global positioning coordinates, longitude, latitude. Did I mention 2020? Rally Capital Lobby Day thing. Shorten it up, please. Like, the official title could be long, but let's just something. Can I just anything smaller, quicker, easier to say. Again, I'm going off list because I talked about a lot of stuff. And there's not a lot of, it's a big head, but there's not a lot of space in there that stuff can fit because there's so much junk. Anyway, most important thing I do is talk to you about Jesus. If you have any questions about Jesus Christ and why he's the greatest ever, please just go ahead and reach out. I don't know everything, but I know more than, I guess, the average person. And I'm not trying to get you to sit in my pew or fill my church or send me your money. So I will give you an honest answer, and I will not make it politically correct. And I'll reference whatever Bible scripture I can figure out. But yeah, I'll tell you about it. But whether you show up to my church or not, or donate, or I don't care. So I really don't have too much spiritual skin in the game, whether you're going up or going down, or. But everyone should give an account. Tell everyone the good news. Well, I'm here for you. Anyway, yeah, most of you should probably just click away now, because this is going to be one of those loving peace and spiritual, godly, loving, hugging stuff. After action report. And most of you are not going to care about this stuff. So, the case for peace and love, man. I think it's going to be a lot easier to build bridges and articulate and get people on our side if we show them just what nice people we are. We just stop being angry all the time. We did a prayer circle. I told you I mentioned this, right? 4 of us. And I'm switching hands again. No perverted comments. So anyway, we did a prayer circle. It was towards the end of the rally and stuff, and man, it was so cool, right? We were all praying and thanking God for the rally and how it turned out and all this other stuff. We were praying for each other and whatever. And right there out in the open, 4 of us, 4 grown meat eaters, just saying thank you, right? It was really cool. It was really cool. And then when we got done, just kind of, because arm over each other's shoulders, circle. If you don't know what it is, just Google it. Anyway, when we got done, we were like, oh man, that was pretty cool. And we look over, and it was this little old lady, right? She's standing there with this little sign. I think it was an anti-abortion sign. It was pretty cool. But come to find out, man, she saw us praying, and she just stopped and then prayed with us while we were praying, man. And that, I was like, wow, that, I got blown away by it. It was so cool, man. That was nice, man. That was like a jar of cherries on top, man. It was so cool, man. I dig it. You know what would have been great, man? Everyone, I think I heard I was in the grouchy section, right? When everyone was screaming and chanting USA, like it wasn't. I was always like in the people that weren't singing along or whatever. So I think I heard like the Pledge of Allegiance. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. If it was something else, but I thought it was the Pledge of Allegiance. Why couldn't we do the Lord's Prayer? Like I'm willing to bet money that at least half that crowd was Christian or claimed to be. Right? The Lord's Prayer is like the basics. Like everyone knows that one, right? Even non-Christians probably know the Lord's Prayer. So, why couldn't we have asked God to bless that event, right? And who's going to be offended, right? And if you are offended because someone else has faith and you don't, tough shit. Well, sorry. But tough, right? Like, look, man, then, when you found, or when your principles are the foundation of another country, then you sing your song there or whatever it is. But the Christians founded this country, and this country is run by Judeo-Christian law. Read a book, right? Go to Arlington Cemetery. Those aren't circles; those are crosses, right? And sorry, but that's overwhelming population of the United States is or identifies as some sort of Christ-based faith, or Jewish, which is like part A or the first half, or I don't know, part of Christianity. I think like the Jews took it like here, like to the 30-yard line, and then the Christians took it the rest of the way out. And if you're Jewish, don't be offended. It's just a Christian perspective. But anyway, like you couldn't ask God to be there for us and be with us, right? And whatever your spiritual stuff, whatever, right? Like, I'm sure there were a lot of turd blossoms there, or a lot of hateful people there, or whatever. Okay, well, screw them, right? Believe what you want, but don't ruin it for everyone. Don't be the turd in a punch bowl, right? Like, if half the people there are Christian or more, then let them say their prayer and their piece, and as long as they don't jump in your face and say it, and I don't think anyone there would have, what do you care, right? But we should have definitely called on God, right? Another screw you to the Democrats, who are definitely not showing themselves to be Christian in any way, shape, or form. Unless burning crosses is a Christian thing, which I don't think it is, but maybe in the Klan religion, it's a quasi-corrupted Christian cross-burning thing. I don't know. Why would you burn a cross, right? Like, I don't understand. Couldn't you just burn a stick? Like, what? It's like, it seems like extra effort for no reason, because it's definitely not biblical or Christian to do that. So I don't know why you'd use the cross as a symbol, as lighting on fire, and someone's like, weird. It's chalk that up to stuff I don't get. Anyway, does God want war? Well, there's plenty of verses either way. Does God want us to fight for our rights and freedoms? I'm sure you can find plenty of verses either way. I got a tattoo. It says, "Who would Jesus bomb?" in Matthew 5:9. There's a whole story behind that, but Matthew 5:9 is, "Blessed be the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God." But there's plenty of verses. I think it's Luke 28. Jesus says, if you don't have a sword, sell your tunic and buy a sword. Sell your clothes and go get a sword, because I will not always be with you. I think it's more of a religious persecution kind of thing, but we can have that conversation too. Anyway, I really think God had a hand in founding this country, and God blessed it. Crazy odds, right? 3%, right? That's where the 3%ers come from. It was 3% of the colonists that stood up to the British and whooped that tushy. So the idea is just 3% is all it would take. And if you think about it, if there's 100 million gun owners, and 3% of the gun owners stand up and form a militia and fight for the gun rights. That's 3 million armed people. That's a pretty big army. Simple maths. That's good. That's a thing. That's a big thing. So if the founding fathers wrote the amendments and the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and all that stuff, and put the militia in and the right to bear arms in, so that we could, from time to time, correct the direction of our government, then that's our duty, isn't it? That's something we should be doing. That's not an option. It's almost like a commandment, right? Not a religious commandment, but that's almost a commandment. That's almost a law, right? If you read Virginia's Constitution, which you should, it's even more specific, which Ralph Northam is going to find out, because it says, males, I think it's 16 to 55, are a part of the militia. Are a part, not have the option, are a part of the militia. Some of you going to have to start jogging with me. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it even says, we'll train. There's a blurb, there's a part of the sentence in there that talks about training, right? So, Ralph Northam's little, you're not allowed to train with firearms and you can't have closed-in ranges, that's all going out the window by the Virginia Constitution. Sorry. But I mean, the spiritual conversation of does God want us to do this, that's a tough one, man. You're going to find arguments either way. I know what God wants you to do, and that's not be a liar, a thief, dishonorable. Doesn't want you to walk around saying hateful things and being rude and horrible to people. God wants you to be merciful. God wants you to be loving. God wants you to love your enemy, right? That means we got to be loving to Ralph Northam, right? What does that mean? That's a whole other conversation. But he doesn't want you spitting or urinating on him. He doesn't want you torturing him. He doesn't want any of that stuff. That's not biblical, right? I'm reading the Militant Christi or the Sherderon or the Militant Christian, or it's got like 5 different names, by Erasmus, and he does a pretty good job of explaining the laws of a Christian knight, right? And spoiler alert, none of them have to do with, oh, it's okay to grab a weapon and kill a infidel or any of that garbage. That's all. That is not. Everyone running around, I'm a Christian crusader. You wouldn't know a Christian crusader if one fell out of the sky and landed on your face. Like, wrong. You're just a douche that wants to hurt people and used God's name as your excuse to do it. That's garbage. I hate's a strong word. I'm going to try to, let me take that back. I dislike with a great deal, sometimes passionately, at these people that make rifles and put Christian lingo on it, and they talk about, and they put this Christian knight stuff up and all that. Because I only know 1 or 2 people that actually know what that's about. The overwhelming majority of you, 99.99%, don't know jack about what it is to be a Christian warrior, right? And probably don't even know what it meant to be a crusader. And that's a whole other conversation. But these people, on average, sold everything they owned to fund their trip to go on a religious crusade to protect the pilgrims that were going to see the Holy Land, right? Read a book. Stop using Jesus and God as your justification to hate people. It's not biblical. It's not in the book. Shut up. Sorry. Oh, that gets under my skin. That's so rotten and so wrong. And people have been doing it for years, and it's horrible. And there's going to come a day when you're going to have to pay for that. And it might be a Christian, a real Christian, to set you straight. And you better hope it is, because if it's Lord Almighty, then that's the wrong time to have that conversation. Because if you're talking to him, too late. Time to reap what you sowed. Anyway, we need to be building bridges. Like I said in another video, man, there's people that have suffered from gun violence that we need to let them know, man. We sympathize with them, we feel their pain, but we didn't do that, right? And we need to have conversation about mental illness, and a serious conversation, right? And not a shameful one, right? We shouldn't be, people have mental illnesses or problems or suffer from different things, and we shouldn't make them out to be these horrible people that can't be trusted, right? But maybe if you're going through some things, maybe you need to lock it up, give it to a friend or something, right? Maybe we can have those conversations, right? And it's stereotypical of me to say this, right? But I'm pretty sure that there's a mold out there that a lot of people fit in, where you are pro-gun, anti-gay, and look, I'm anti-silliness, right? And there's a lot of silliness to go around. And have we seen and been victim of some silliness in gender bathroom conversations? Yeah, that's been a thing, right? But the passionate hate that comes from people is dumb and counterproductive, and y'all need to learn that. Do I want a guy in a woman's restroom? Absolutely not. But you know what the easy solution to that conversation is? How about the family restroom? Like almost every movie theater around here got one now, right? There's a boy, there's a girl, and then there's the family one. And we could just call that the undecided one. And then, if you're undecided, go there, right? If you have a wee-wee, then go to the boys' room or go to undecided. If you don't have a wee-wee, you don't go to the boys' room. You go to the girls' room or the undecided, right? Like, simple solution, done. You're welcome, America. I just solved the whole problem, right? Like, we can have those conversations instead of, oh, if he's got a penis and I see him entering the girls' bathroom, I'm going to do this and And I understand where it's coming from, right? You have good intentions, but I talked about it the other day, James 13, right? Where, when, can salt water and fresh water come from the same spring, right? Your heart, right? If all this venom and piss and vinegar comes out, then everyone thinks what's in here is full of venom, piss, and vinegar, right? Who cares what you have to say if that's what we think you are and that's all you're going to say, right? So constructive conversations, peace, love, right? Respect. These are people, right? And they could be our family members, or they could be just like our family members, right? My parents are Democrats, right? And, man, you say a T word near them and they're like, oh, did he say Trump, right? Like is it silly? I think it's silly, and I would tell them so, right? But out of respect, we're not going to have arguments about that stuff. My stepfather kind of approaches and tries to bait, and I just say, look, they're all shitty. Can we agree on that? You know what I mean? And then we can agree, and then we move forward, right? And yeah, I've gotten a lot more across and gotten him to rethink some things by loving conversations that were respectful than just Trump is the greatest. You got to learn that, Democrats are bad. Like, because then everyone just goes to their corner and is just ready for fights. So we need to be able to have positive and articulate and caring conversations, and fact-based, not cold dead hands, what don't you understand about, shall not be infringed. How about the fact that in Virginia in 2017, which the only complete data statistics you're going to get across the board are going to be 2017 currently. In 2017 in Virginia, 7 homicides with rifles. 7. You are 53 more times likely to get hit by a car crossing the street than you are to be shot by a rifle. Actually, I think it's more than that. Maybe not. because I think it was only like 113 pedestrians killed last year. I don't know, but like I'm doing the research, and I'm gonna put those facts out there pretty soon. And yeah, when you start bringing facts like that, because you've done the research, those are hard arguments to refute, especially when I could say, oh no, it's according to the data on the CDC website and this Department of Transportation website, because these are all government sites. The same government that's trying to take away your guns, and the same data they're using, that they only tell you the big numbers, like, oh, this many people died from firearms. They don't tell you how many suicides. And then when you get to the suicide conversation, they're like, well, yeah, well, if they didn't have a gun, they would kill themselves. And you say, really? Because Japan has, 1/10 the people we have, and they have no guns, and they have twice the suicide numbers, or some such, right? I got to go finish the research on that. But they have twice the suicide rate and no guns. So I think that kind of just nullifies that whole if they didn't have guns, they wouldn't commit suicide argument. But even that has to be conveyed in like, look, pump the brakes. I don't think that data is accurately represented, and this is why, right? Calm conversations, right? Last two things, right? 21 minutes. I'm sorry that these are so long. I ramble a lot, and I'm not going to edit anything because I'm not doing that. I'm not a big editor thing guy. So hope it fits. If not, it'll all be on YouTube. Anyway, it is a civil rights argument, and for those of you that don't know, the racist white people blew up Martin Luther King's house. And shortly after that, he applied for a concealed carry permit because he understood the value of having a pistol or a firearm with him and being able to protect his life. And he was denied his concealed carry permit by racist white people. So this is most definitely a black issue. This is most definitely a Hispanic or an Asian or a transgender, cisgender, quad gender, amoeba gender, man, woman, elderly, youth movement. It's everybody's concern, right? The ability to protect yourself, because the bad guy does not care, right? Bad guy's not gonna be like, well, if you can only have a revolver, then I'll just buy a revolver. No, they're gonna have a 30-round magazine in their pistol because they know you ain't got jack, right? They know you might have a 3-round pump shotgun full of rock salt, and they're coming with an AK-47 that's fully automatic. And oh, by the way, they probably got it from that Democratic senator that was shipping firearms here illegally from the Philippines. Google it. Yeah, the same Democratic senator or congressman or whatever politician that was in California going, no guns, we're taking all your guns are bad, guns are evil. He got busted by the ATF for shipping firearms here illegally and selling them to gangs. That's the people trying to tell you you don't need guns. So yeah, be afraid, right? You think the CIA only flooded South Central California with drugs? You don't think that they gave you guns? Come on, let's not be silly, right? Now, do I think gangs need to have guns? No, right? We've touched on that. So there's law-abiding citizens should have guns, and most often. But if you're going through some stuff, then there's a whole other conversation about that. But this is everybody's rights, right? This is definitely a civil rights issue across the board, no matter what color you are, size, shape, what you identify. I don't care if you identify as an Oreo cookie. This is your issue. And we need to be able to articulate that with history. Like when I found out about MLK and him wanting a concealed carry permit, like that was deep, right? A white supremacist blew up his house. Then he wanted to be able to protect himself, and a white racist said no. That's a pretty important piece of history that I don't really hear being told in Black History Month, right? Because the Democrats don't want you to know that. So share that. Google it, read up on it, get the facts, and share it compassionately, patiently, and lovingly, right? That's how we're going to get more people involved. And finally, God is always calling us, always, right? He's always calling us to be passionate, loving, caring towards one another, so that way, by everyone else will know that we are His. He's calling us to be passionate to people that might not understand our side of the story, and hate isn't going to get that message across. So be prayerful, be loving, be considerate. Look, check one another in love, right? You see someone getting angry, acting out, put a hand on their shoulder, tell them you love them, but we need to calm down and have another conversation, or maybe even have a conversation another day, right? Let cooler heads prevail. God changed the heart of Pharaoh in Exodus. Go read the story several times, and God could change the heart of Ralph Northam. I absolutely believe that, right? God changed the heart of Paul, right? Paul was out there helping the Jews find and kill Christians, and then he became one of the most heroed authors of the Bible, and an incredible warrior for Christ. And God could do that to Ralph Northam and any other Democrat, and you get to have a part of that, right? And you might be part of soften him up. So God's always calling us. So listen, be there. That's all I got for this video. God bless you all, and I hope I've been able to generate some thought, maybe start a few conversations, and I hope I brought something positive to the game. Love you guys. God bless.